Hello YouTube. So today we're going to be talking about the Cyber Dragon, or learning to play Cyber Dragon, I guess. So, first of all, I'm sorry if my voice sounds a little bit weird. It's because I just got back from I don't know, I think it was like a virus or something like that. It wasn't COVID because I got tested for it and it wasn't that, but or at least presumably wasn't that. But, yeah, so that's why my voice is going to be sounding a little bit weird. Anyways, probably not here for that. The main thing is Cyber Dragon. So initially I was playing this deck a little bit strangely. I really wanted to play it like a fun way. So looking here over the recordings that I have going through it, I wanted to play Cyber Pharaohs, which I knew wasn't going to work, but I wanted to play it anyways because I think that the Cyber Dragon fusions are really fun. Even if they're not particularly good, they're really fun to play. So I wanted to add that into the deck. Unfortunately, with the later versions, you see that it ends up being cut from the deck because it is not as good of a card. So, yeah. If you do want to play a fusion version of the deck, it's pretty fun, it's pretty interesting, but, I don't know, I guess it's just not the best. It's not the best way to play it. As for later on, you see me playing like 2 Cyber Dragon. I eventually put it back down, or back up to 3 because I think it is just such a good card in the deck. It's an extra light, so you can discard it to Special Galaxy Soldier, you can discard it to Special Natchester, you can special it with the Rev System, search it with Emergency, special summon it with Duplication. There's so many things that just 2 Cyber Dragons doesn't accomplish for you. Having the third one really makes a big difference in the deck. And eventually, so some other card choices I want to talk about were the moving Natchester down to 1. That wasn't something that I initially wanted to do. I thought that would be a really cool idea to play at 3 because I think it is genuinely one of the most interesting cards in the deck. The problem with it, and the problem with some of the other cards, is that, as I found out, they're good, but they're not that good. So, when I went into this deck, I really wanted to find, I really wanted to play it kind of differently, I wanted to play the deck in a way that was new and different and just fun, And as I started playtesting, I realized that although you can play the deck in a really fun way, it's just not as viable that way. You can if you want to, but it's not as viable. So you'll see, at one point I tried playing I tried playing one of the Cyber spells. I'm gonna look it up on Nolan Book for a minute. Cyber Repair Plant, and that card sucks. I do not like that card because it is a searcher and it's really good, and it also allows you to shuffle back cards. The main problem with it is that it requires you to have additional setup. And normally I wouldn't, be that, against it, especially because Cyber Dragon is such having Cyber Dragon in the graveyard isn't exactly the hardest thing to do in the deck, but at the same time I just don't feel like it's that good. I don't know, it just didn't feel like it was that good of a card. I'd always want to see something else in my hand other than that card. Rev System I initially actually wanted to put at 3 because I thought it was a really cool card. The problem with Rev System is that, as you come to learn, it just isn't, you don't need to special summon that much. If you're playing like a special heavy Cyber Dragon deck, it's cool, and you may find a way that works, but it's not the most effective way of utilizing the Cyber Dragon strategy. And so eventually I think I ended up playing Paw of Prosperity as well. I don't think I initially played that. I play this in pretty much every deck I play. And the reason is because it's such a powerful card to be able to look at the top 3 cards of your deck and say, yes, I want to get, this or that, or, whatever. Just being able to have that flexibility is so good. It's amazing. And of course, you can never play Extravagance in this deck because you have too many cards that you really need in your extra deck. I think typically I would probably take out, to be able to use Paw of Prosperity, one of the Mega Fleet, probably Unicorn and Relinquished Anima or Outmirage, one of those two. But digging like 3 cards into your deck, even if it's not 6, you can't really, in most of the decks that I play, you can't really dig deep into your deck like 6 cards, but just being able to look at the top 3 is such a powerful effect. And, yeah. So, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Most of the time, if you look at the decks I play, I do not like playing hand traps. However, I think Ash is just such a generically good card, and I'm not really willing to look at the meta too much because I don't really like playing on Dueling Book. I just find it very I don't know. I just don't enjoy having to do everything myself. I just kind of want to click buttons, so yeah, so I don't, but Dueling Book is really kind of the only place you have a meta, and so Ash Blossom and the others are basically just because they're basically just staples, essentially. Lightning Storm, I typically don't play this because I think it's a bad card. The reason why specifically is because you can negate it with so many different cards. Having this in your hand versus Dark Ruler, or even against Effect Failure, you'd always want to have Effect Failure in your hand instead of Lightning Storm, because Lightning Storm can't, if you activate this in a Sprite board, you're just going to get negated by Toad. So you'd rather have something like Effect Failure to negate one of your opponent's Sprite monsters than to really go into something than to have this. But it's a decent card. The cards that I really like are specifically Dark Ruler, No More, and Droplets. I think these cards are very powerful. They trade off multiple cards with just one card, essentially. Not the same with Forbidden Droplet. Sometimes you're going to have to discard your entire hand. However, it's just such a powerful card, being able to stop your opponent's effects from negating, or being activated, and you can even stop your opponent's cards on their turn is just such a good effect. So yeah, I think these 2 cards are amazing. Then Infinite Impermanence is essentially your 6th, 7th, or the 7th, 8th, and 9th copies of these 2. It's not as good, but it's still fine. Looking at the extra deck currently, I think the one change that I would make is I would want to play a second Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon. It never came up for me. It never came up where I needed the second one. However, if I were to make the deck again, I would want to play an additional way to make make Chimera Tech Dragon, and I'd probably cut it for 1 Mega Fleet. I was thinking I really want to break boards with Cyber Dragon, which is a good idea, but Rampage is just such a good card. So yeah, if you look at the rest of the extract, I imagine it's pretty standard. Relinquished Anima is to trigger your hurts, and or to send Snatchester, and then you can get additional advantage there. Just breaking boards is just such a good thing. But yeah, I think that's about it. That's about it for the overview. So I'll see you in the next part, I guess. Hello YouTube. So today, again, we're going to be going with some Cyber Dragon combos. There aren't that many, so I'm just going to get started. The first one really has to do with just one Galaxy Soldier and any weight 2 light monsters. So if you can search 2 light monsters, that's great. If you just have, some access to 2 light monsters like this, or if you just have 2 in your hand, it's also great. So you can discard this and special summon this, declare this, search for like any Cyber Dragon monster. It doesn't really matter that much. So you can add like Cyber Dragon here, and then you can trigger that, the Galaxy Soldier, to search another copy of itself. Sorry if you hear the purring in the background, that is my cat. So then you can discard that, special this, overlay, special Nova, and then special your Infinity. And that's like the basic bread and butter combo of the deck. Outside of that, there aren't really too many combos. The deck, it just kind of depends on what you draw. Though you can, if you have like a normal summon Cyber Dragon monster and machine duplication, you can also just go machine dupe, target this, declare this, and then to add something, and then go machine dupe, special 2 Cyber Dragons, and get Nova out that way. So really there's quite a few ways of getting into it. It just kind of depends on your hand. It's a very interesting deck. You have some interesting combos, but I would recommend one of the other combos you can make. If we go back to the deck editor, and we look at Cyber Dragon, oh, maybe it's just Cyber. If we can look at Dre, so this says when this card is normal summoned, you can make all Cyber Dragon you control currently become level 5. So then you can pair that with Veer, and Veer says if you normal special summon a Cyber Dragon, except during the damage step, you can special summon it this card. So you can normal Dre, special Veer, and then Dre will actually, because you specialed Veer and immediately afterwards, they'll both become level 5, and you can make your Nova that way and go into Infinity. So that's another way. There are a few combos. To be honest, the deck doesn't really have like that many combos per se. It's basically just the same bread and butter combo, seeing how you can like get how many ways you can get into like level 5 to level 5 monsters. That's about it. So that's about it for the combo section. Hello again, and we are going to be looking at the first duel. So these are the real duels. These are like skill duels, I guess, or at least these were taken by like real people instead of just robots. So as skilled as you can get. But anyways, I had to dig 6 deep with this because I believe that's 6 anyways. Yeah, because I drew no monsters, so that was really unfortunate. And so I was like, okay, so I went for it again, drew the out to Lightning Storm, and still proceeded to like die to Macro, because Macro is just so good. Yeah, but yeah, I was literally like, alright, I can't deal with this. This is too strong. When again, this is a much better hand, because you can just straight up make your boss monster the Infinity. You can the Infinity is very good, and you get to have machine dupe location for next turn if you don't discard it through the droplet. Oh well, great. So machine dupe, that's pretty good. Get another Cyber Dragon, and then proceeds to go for the OTK. This is very slow for me because it's like basically going out how it renders, and so you guys are probably seeing this a lot faster than me, but it's a lot harder for me to see, but so I'm sorry if anything's slow, but anyways, it's pretty cool. We got victory through an OTK basically, so that's pretty cool. One thing you will notice about this is that if we were going second, we would not we wouldn't have to side because I put no side deck cards in the side deck. The reason is I could side, yes. However, I just didn't think it was necessary. Well, not necessary, but I don't think it was like I don't really create side decks because I don't want to like. It's just creating a side deck is like I won't say that. It's really hard. You have to really know what cards are good against what strategies and that kind of thing. And I am just kind of going into this blindfolded, essentially. I don't really know much about the format. So, let's see I'm definitely going to have to edit some of this footage because it's just going to like blank for a few seconds. I tried editing some of this. The problem is that I don't really know how to do that without messing the whole thing up. So if you're seeing this few seconds of like nothing that I am seeing, I am sorry for that. Okay. Here we go again. I just don't know how to edit that out. Set 2 pass. Great start. Especially against Branded. I really wanted to save Dash for the Branded fusion just in case they drew it. You know, infinite impermanence there. It's pretty good. Yeah. I didn't think that effect failure was that good in that position. But, you know. Ash plus Cyber Dragon would have been interesting to go into like a Hulk thing, but you don't play any tuners, so it wouldn't have really been worth it. Yeah, sending droplet for droplet really needed to just not, I really just needed to stop them from making, going into their branded fusion as much as possible, because branded fusion just sucks. Going up against that is just terrible. But they found a way anyways, so that was kind of unfortunate. But oh well. Let's see. Oh, yeah, Dragoon. Okay. That sucks. Dragoon. Dragoon is bane of my existence. Being able to special summon one back is really good. Especially because then you could, if you're able to get a Link monster in the Link zone, you could probably make, could probably fuse with some of their cards, so that would have been cool. But yeah. Finish 3 here. I wonder if they negated it. Well. Oh yeah, they didn't negate the special summon, and I was like, okay, I don't have anything else. So that just sucks, but oh well. Yeah, see, side decking, no, I didn't side anything here because I didn't have anything, so oh well. when you have the perfect hand. Sometimes it's just too good. I think that's the one thing with Cyber Dragon that I don't particularly like. Sorry if you didn't. I didn't really say anything for a few seconds, so okay. I'm at negate. Oh, past. So okay, so they made Asian Destiny. So it. I'm sorry, guys. It computer audio stuff just backed up for a minute. Or not audio, but I couldn't see anything for a minute on the screen because my computer isn't exactly the fastest. Yeah. And Destiny Hero and Phoenix Enforcer really just sucks. But as I was saying, I think that's one of my problems with Cyber Dragon is that you can make decks where you can overextend, but they're not particularly good. In the regular decks that you have, where you just play like the typical standard ratios of everything, that's basically what this deck is, right? It's fine to play, but it's kind of just, it's kind of boring because you're just like, you're kind of just you can't really overextend. You can maximum you can have an Omni Negate with however many pops, and that's about it. So kind of sucks. It is what it is, though. I must lose this game too because this is not a good situation. This is pretty bad. Not gonna lie. Yep. Did I just close out of it? I can't tell. Yeah, I'm used to like, so one thing that I typically do, when you guys probably don't see this often, but before I make deck profiles, I actually just, I typically like go against a basic bot, and then I will for a few minutes I will like duel against that basic bot, and then or at least this is how it goes down. Typically, all I do is see if the combo deck that I works, if it does the things that I want it to do, how consistent it is, that kind of stuff. And if I need to change cards, I'll change cards, but I typically don't go too deep into it unless I'm really trying to like one of these. I try to go decently deep in these, but I don't go superly over the top. That's something I'll say about this. I think I'm not sure if I finished that match, and I think probably part of the reason was because I'm just used to that. Like, I'm just used to seeing what the combo deck does on my turn, and then but like I don't really want to deal with like hand traps or anything like that. I just want to see how I specifically want to see if the combo works, that kind of stuff. Not really its resilience or anything like that. And so that's probably, I think I exited out of that pretty quickly, and that's probably why. It's one of those things where I want to go deep enough into the deck where I understand it, but I don't really want to go, so deep that I'm just like, that I'm spending, a lot of time on each deck. I spend enough time to understand how it works, but I never spend enough time to like understand if it can play through hand traps and that kind of stuff. I don't, because that just requires more time than I have to be able to do that kind of stuff. So yeah, I have been trying to do that recently. There aren't a lot of decks that. Another thing is that there aren't really a lot of decks that can really maintain my interest for a long enough time. So one of the decks that has been doing so recently has been Morphtronic. Interestingly enough, I think Morphtronic is a very interesting deck, but I just don't do it that often. I know this is probably a pretty weird thing to say, but I don't think Cyber Dragon is particularly interesting to me. At least this base version of it. A lot of the plays are the same. It's pretty generic. You play, if you don't draw a Galaxy Soldier, you kind of just lose, or at least if you don't draw away into your your getting out 2 level 5 monsters, you basically just lose. And there really just aren't enough ways to get into them. That's one of the things I will say. It's kind of important for you to be able to play. There's those 2 level 4 monsters, or no, there's 2 level 4s. One says you can special summon it if you normal or special summon a Cyber Dragon, and the other one says that if it's normal or special summoned, you can make all Cyber Dragons you control gain an extra level, I believe, or become level 5. And so you can just turn them into Nova and then Infinity. And I think those are those are pretty good because it makes the deck slightly more consistent. However, if you don't play those, it's also really good because you can play more hand traps. However, hand traps only ever give you 1-for-1 advantage. So that's why I thought Lightning Storm and the other cards were just a lot better. It just depends on what you want from the deck. I think if you're going for something that's you want it to be more fun, I would definitely consider playing the fusion version. If you want it to be more competitive, you have to go for the Xyz version. Yeah, I mean, if you want to go for DK version, you can definitely go for Infinity, because Infinity, I think it's Infinity. No, it's Eternity. Cyber and Dragon, yeah, that one. Because Cyber and Dragon is just such a good, it's not a great card, but it allows you to, it's like a big beater. You can really go use it for a lot of different things. It's a really good card. Or maybe not a really, sorry, just thinking, maybe it's not a really good card. It's a really good beat stick. You just keep going in for attacks every turn. Your opponent can definitely easily get rid of it, but the fact that you can just deal half of your opponent's life points to them is just, it's crazy. Having said that, the Link Cyber Dragon monster is also very good because it can get itself up to 4200 attack, which is that's pretty good. And it can also increase your other monsters. I only ever used it once, I believe, but it really is a good card. Say another thing about this deck, it's very interesting. You have a lot of room to play hand traps, but you don't really have much room to make it consistent enough. You don't have much room to make everything a lot more consistent. Oh man, this is not looking good. Time Lords. I remember at my locals, there was this one guy. There was one point, I was playing. Sorry, I'm going on a rant. I'm not really talking about Cyber Dragons anymore. I'm sorry about that. But he was playing Mystic Mine Time Thief, and oh my gosh, it was so annoying because he was brand new to Yu-Gi-Oh, didn't even play the game, and the opponent, and or not the opponent, the one of his friends brought him Mystic Mine Time Thief as like the easy deck to play, and I was so distraught. I was like, I don't know how you, like, I don't know what to do against this deck. I even summoned Zark and it did literally nothing. Like, I full out summoned Zark, like, was able to summon it, and it didn't matter because it literally did nothing. So, even, I'm not sure Mystic Mine was on the board at that point. I know it came down at least one of the games, but it didn't come out. I think it was the third game that I made Zark, and it did Time Thieves nothing. It just didn't matter because the Time Thieves, or not Time Thieves, the time things just were like just can't be destroyed by artifacts or battle. So then he attacked over with one of them, and I was totally distraught. I was like, how could this happen? I thought Zark was invincible. So sad. Zark is such a fun deck to play, but it's so bad in this current meta game. A few years ago, Zark would have been absolutely crazy. Like Zark or oh yeah, I'm just trying to change my avatar, but Zark or Ignister. The Ignister deck is pretty interesting because it's like the modern day version of Zark, but dang, it was like, wow, I can't do anything against it. It was kind of crazy. Pretty sad. It's like, this is the day I realize Zark is terrible. I love you, Zark, but you're so bad. Eventually, at some point, some people started. I think somebody opens like Thunder Dragon Colossus in the OTS 15 or 16 pack. I can't remember. Maybe it was OTS 12. I honestly don't remember what pack it was from. But I was really happy. I was like, I really wanted it so badly, and he was like, "No, I'm gonna play Thunder Dragons." And then typically, so we all are the local people all love this man, but he is not consistent about the decks he plays. He's just kind of like he's kind of like one of those meta people who say they like kind of like say they like something, but it's only while they're good. He's not like that kind of like meta person where they just like drop a deck immediately after, but like he kind of tracks meta a bit, and he's not particularly great at meta decks, or I love the man, but he's not particularly good at the decks. And yeah, it was kind of unfortunate, but yeah, I ended up loving Thunder Dragon Planet after that. Kind of funny, but yeah. So I guess that brings us to the end of the video. This is the Cyber Dragon deck list. I'm sorry I went on a rant, but I was just thinking about Time Thief and all that. And so yeah, this is the deck list. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.